Actually, I may have you hold the screwdriver. I figured that was coming.
Hi, this is John Gilbert at Classic Trucks Magazine. We're on day 3, Week to Wicked, build for Speedway Motors. 1952 Chevrolet pickup to commemorate Speedway Motors' 65th anniversary. A lot of the smaller details have been accomplished. The wiring's going in right now. It's painless performance wiring harness. It's specifically for a Chevrolet pickup, AD pickup. Okay, the tires and wheels are on it. These are the tires and wheels that the truck's going to be running. We pulled the Coker Firestone wide ovals off. They were just rollers. Now it has Falcon tires with Rocket Racing 5-spoke mags.
Do you know what the model name is, John?
Of what?
Boosters.
They're boosters? The model name is Rocket Boosters.
What's the finish on those, John?
Well, it's not real shiny. What is it?
Would you call that as cast?
As cast. Yeah, you could call that as cast with a polished lip.
Yes, sir. We have one of those also.
Or just gray.
Yeah, these guys get stuck on the light right now. Oh, shit.
Okay, the brakes have been bled. All the lines, all the plumbing's been done, and the brakes have been bled.
To remove all of our. I'm just going to step this in.
Fuel pumps in. 17-gallon aluminum Speedway Motors gas tank. Now we're working on the sending unit for the fuel gauge, gasoline gauge. That's such a good sound. Let's see, let's go take a look. The engine and transmission are ready to go together, join the transmission to the engine. Okay, Monday, before we saw the transmission, I was calling it a 4L85E or 4L80, what we were expecting. Then I heard it was going to be a 4L60E, and we got it, and actually it's a 4L70E. That what distinguishes it is the 4L60E. The bell housing is all part of the transmission case, where the 4L70, the bell housing separates from the transmission.
I'm still using my 30-year-old building.
Okay, let's see. Here's the LS3 hanging in the air, getting ready to install the transmission to it and then drop it into the truck. The motor mounts are on it. Vintage Air front runner pulley system, serpentine belt is on it. ATI super dampener is on it.
I'll let you.
Power Master starter. And Hooker ceramic coated cast iron exhaust manifolds replace the original LS3 exhaust manifolds. Paul Frederick 62 GMC. Yeah, that'd be a fun truck to build too, Paul. What's the stall in the converter?
You know, I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest.
Okay.
But I'll look it up and I'll get back to you.
Okay. Ryan's going to look up stall speed in the converter, and we'll know in a little bit here. Avco radiator, aluminum radiator. 3,500? Yeah, I don't think so. Sounds a little high, huh? Yeah, we don't have it here in the specs. Sorry about that. Kenny, yeah, now that's a radiator. You're right. We'll walk over and get a closer look at that radiator. Wherever they took it to. Okay, here's the radiator. Avco Racing radiator. It's they specified that it's an LS engine going in it, so the inlet and the outlet are on the same side. Here's a, let's see here, if I can do this with one hand. That's the beauty of an aluminum radiator. I can move it with one hand. The shroud, electric fan, everything comes with it. Okay. Been taking care of a lot of the little things. This truck was a stock truck with 6-volt charging system, 6-volt battery. So the 6-volt headlight bulbs had to be pulled out and put in a set of 12-volt. Faustino, what kind of transmission? That's a 4L70E from Performance Automatic. They're in Maryland. Juan, hello back to you. Good morning, California time. I think it's getting close to 10 a.m. here. Kenny, is this truck? No, the truck isn't going to be for sale. This truck's going back to Speedway Motors in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they'll use it for events and stuff, promotional, and they'll continue. Like right now, it just has radio delete. When it gets back there, they're going to put retro sound stereo system in it. Joe here, he works at Speedway Motors. Joe and Tom and Damon Lee are all out from Nebraska to help on the build. Okay, on you. 1952. Juan, it's a 1952. Andy Sheen, UK, man. So what is going to be done today? The engine and transmission are going to be mated up and then dropped in, bolted in the chassis. We're working on wiring right now. And set the cab on the chassis. It's already been pre-fitted. The cab's been on and off the chassis a couple times at least, just to make sure everything's going to line up. So it should just drop right on. Wait in. Yeah, Nebraska guys loving the weather, for sure. South Carolina. Josh, how you doing? Yeah, it's a good color. It's awesome color. That's we're calling it Speedway Motors Yellow. I'll get back here and look up. See the Speedway Motors banner. Bright yellow, and the 52 Chevy pickup's bright yellow. Okay, the cab is supported on a direct lift 2-post hoist. And this has been making it real nice. You know, to do a build in, probably this truck will be finished up in 5 days from start to finish. Out there in the background, that's a chassis that drove in on a stock truck Monday morning and able to build the truck in 5 days. 7 days on the outset, a full week. we're employing methods and make it faster. So you can see the cab's on a 2-post lift, and then when we need to raise the cab to set it on the chassis, we just raise it and roll the chassis underneath. Okay. Let's see. Reynosa, Mexico, Vicente Guerrero. Let's see here. How do you pronounce his name?
Glauco? That one?
Above, yeah, Brazil.
Oh, that's
Brazil.
Portuguese. I don't speak Portuguese.
Oh, it's
Glauco?
Portuguese?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, see, shows what I know. I barely speak English. Okay, well, I was trying to get a little advice how to pronounce the name there. It's Portuguese. We have a Portuguese guy here, but he's upstairs, so I didn't want to mess up pronouncing your name. Yeah, it looks like canary yellow. We're calling it Speedway Motors yellow.
I mean, it's kind of going to be hanging out there. I guess you could put it in some purple.
Shoot, it could be John Deere safety yellow for all I know, but I think Speedway Motors is an appropriate name for the color. Oh, heck, let's peek through the window here. Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo!
You know what I mean? Sometimes, like the electric.
It's to the left there. That's Ryan Manson. He's the editor of Classic Trucks.
Well, you know, I might kind of run everything in that direction and whatever as you sort through it, whatever. I wonder if these are more white ground. And there's no cross issue or there's no.
You have to put the motor. That's where you pull the other side down. So it's high enough and off of that. The only potential issue was the rack.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will.
There's a low car shifter. That's a low car shifter that's going on the 4L70E. Irvine, Kenton Irvine. How did you get the paint work done? Oh, the paint work was done. The truck was a complete restored, pretty much stock for the most part, but it came to us painted. Monday morning it was a painted, restored stock Chevrolet truck. The premise of this build is that you can take a stock Chevrolet truck and in a very short period of time turn it into a Resto Mod truck with tilt steering and V8 power, 430 horsepower LS3, rack and pinion steering, independent front suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes, larger fuel capacity, turn it into a practical hot rod truck. You can go to classictrucks.com, streetrodder.com, or hotrod.com, which is the mega site. You go on there and see what the truck looked like when it came in Monday morning. And we have a lot of videos up also on the websites that show the progress of this build from day one, Monday morning, when we started with a stock 1952 Chevy pickup. That's right, all it takes is money. Aloha, Galt, California. Aloha back to you, Wayne. How you doing? O2 sensors. Donald, we don't know the total build of the cost yet. I think that'll be tallied up towards the end. we have magazine editors putting the truck together, and they work cheap, so there's some money saved right there. Now, Jesse, the stock in the cab gas tank is gone, and we're using the 17-gallon Speedway Motors aluminum gas tank, and it's behind the rear wheels to add weight for traction and get the gas tank out of the cab where it's a safety hazard.
Yeah, that's all engine transmission stuff. Oh, you know what?
Here's the electric fuel pump drop in for the fuel injection. The filler neck is right here, and that's the sending unit for the fuel gauge. Juan, San Diego. It's going to get a Chevrolet Performance LS3, 6.2 liter, 372 cubic inches, 430 horsepower. This is the engine right here. Eamon, no, the truck's not going to be sold when it's finished. The truck's going to be used for promotional use. It's being built is to celebrate Speedway Motors' 65th anniversary. They founded in Lincoln, Nebraska in 1952 by Bill Smith, Speedy Bill. Yeah, to do your 67 C10, 5 years. Yeah, that's usually what it takes. It takes a lot of time if you're start with a stock frame and yeah, Greg, getting the gas tank out of the cab, especially these old Chevy trucks, that filler neck hose rots, and then in between the filler neck and the gas tank, there's a lot of gas fumes and gas sloshing around in the cab. Besides, it gives you some room behind the front seat. When that gas tank's out of the cab, now you got room behind the seat to store a, I don't know, 357 bottle of Jack Daniels, anything. Some JD, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Yeah, we're hammering it out quickly for sure. It's a little bit of pressure. So far, so good. It's going real good so far, real well. Painless, Jesse. It's a painless wiring harness. The engine harness comes from Chevrolet Performance, and it's tied into a painless harness. That's it right there. Tom's hooking up the wiring harness now. It's Painless Performance products. It's a harness tailored. It's a 21 circuit painless harness for a Chevrolet pickup. Kenton, yeah, it's a good idea to be able to know what's on there, so when you go to any auto parts store to get in the middle of nowhere, you can tell them what the parts are in case you need them. Going to have to cut a hole in the bedwood to place a filler neck right in the center. It's white oak with polished stainless steel bed strips. This truck came to them restored. They bought it as is, a stock truck. So I can't tell you if this is Marquet out of Oklahoma City or if it's Bruce Horkey up in Minnesota or Bedwood Parts, Alabama. Can't tell you whose bedwood kit this is. Wade, the steering column is Speedway Motors. The tilt column is Speedway Motors. Is as many parts as possible. Imagine taking a stock 1952 Chevrolet pickup and then going through the Speedway catalog with a magnet or a credit card. Wad of cash. Not quite plug and play, but you know, as close as it gets. Johan, thank you. Pure Force, what will we do with the old chassis? Well, here's what we've been doing so far. Larry, no, it's not CPP suspension on this truck, although that's a CPP build, Super Chevy's build. That's the very first week to Wicked, that 67 Chevelle SS396. The original chassis, probably somebody here will have a truck that's going to be a real low budget build and they'll end up with the chassis. The suspension on this truck, this entire chassis is Speedway Motors bolt together chassis. The IFS Mustang 2 clip can be used on the stock Chevy AD frame, or you can buy the frame rails too from Speedway Motors.
If the computer,
Luke, yeah, just don't tell the wife. Card and cash.
yeah. I mean, I think there's also a bunch of holes that are like more towards the center.
Good work, amigos. Petrusco, I'm not sure. I know I'm messing up the name, but I can read. Bien trabajo, amigos. So good work, friends. Thank you very much. Oh, Eamon in Dublin, Ireland. Eamon, you're going to snitch and tell the old lady? That's okay. My wife understands. I don't worry about that stuff. She knows everything I do. There goes the low car shifter. Larry, where's the budget on the frame? You can save money if you have good frame rails if they're not bent or rusted out. This isn't supposed to be a budget build. I mean, it is to some degree, but we're not saying this, build this truck for under so much money. The premise of this story is you can take a stock truck and in a very short amount of time have a really nice updated truck. Yep, can't feed the addiction.
There's 2 layers there. So if you're going to ground it, you have to.
Leonard, okay, yeah, the steering wheel, sure. It's here we go. It's a shrunken 1958 Impala steering wheel. Hey, thank you, Rob.
My pleasure, John.
All right, there you go. Shrunken Impala, 58 Impala steering wheel.
58 or 59?
58 or 59, I'm not sure. Yeah, what's it say in the box? American Retro steering wheel from Speedway Motors, 58 to 60. Okay. Danuba, California. All right. Okay, thank you, Rob. So there you go. A 58 to 60 Impala style, shrunken. That's so if you got a extra large stomach like me, you can still fit behind the steering wheel. Tracy, running the rear end is a Currie 9 Plus with 3.5 gears and limited slip. Here you go. There's the rear end. It's a Currie 9 Plus. So it's like, like a Ford 9-inch, but it's Currie goes in and upgrades all the things, all the developments that were on the Ford 9-inches through the years. 3.5 rear end gears. And the transmission's a 4L70E. Okay, I'll talk about the engine in a second here. Let's see. There was another question. Oh, proportioning valve. Here you go, adjustable proportioning valve. Speedway.
I think so. I think you just come off here. Goes to the floor. This hangs down through the floor. Put a cutout for that in the floor. And then
Okay, Charlie, the engine. Chevrolet Performance. It's an LS3, 430 horsepower, 6.2 liters, which is 376 cubic inches. Yeah, the chrome shocks are kind of cool, and on the rear, if you're pulling up behind that truck, you'd see a little bit of them. Well, if you're way under, because you're going to see the fuel tank first.
What transmission? We need to move on. Is that, do you guys have notes? Okay.
Casio, Brazil, how you doing? Okay, in the foreground, the transmission. Yeah, foreground. In the background, the LS3. And we're getting real close to dropping the engine in the chassis. Got to keep things moving. This motor is 376 cubic inches, 6.2 liter. Okay, the oil pan. Here's the oil pan. It's a regular LS3 oil pan. .430 horsepower. Little AC oil filter there. You see we're using ceramic coated Hooker cast iron exhaust manifolds, replacing the stock. Yeah, we still have donuts, Eamon. Had one this morning myself. Yep, 6.2 liter.
You want it inside the thing, right? Right there. Yeah, not as noticeable at all. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. It came up again. Sorry.
Any of the articles we put out.
Lower. Right there.
Hey, your friend is,
Yeah, the grades.
which half are you gonna remember?
All right, let me know when you're done. See.
Kenny, we went with this size engine because it's a LS3 is it's a good fuel economy, 430 horsepower. This truck will move down the road. Juan Canales, yeah, we'll look at the motor mounts. They're Speedway motors, motor mounts. They're bolted on the side of the block already. Larry, do they still do shift kits? You know, you really don't.
I was just gonna say.
You don't need to do a shift kit like in the old days. You can computer controlled transmission. You can program your shifts. Here, check this out. This will blow your mind. Right here, this controller, your shift points, converter lock, high, low, shift points, high, low, all that's adjustable. And this is a simple shift. It's all there in that little box. You can adjust your shifts right there instead of the old days with a shift kit. Put a shift kit in like a turbo hydro or something, make it shift harsher, and that's it. You're stuck with that setting. But now the computer transmissions, you can control it from inside the car or truck. Oh yeah, the motor mounts. That's Speedway Motors. Motor mounts, the plate.
We'll see 1 second.
The holdup on setting the motor and transmission, I think we're waiting for the camera guys to set up. Oh, and I'm sorry, I just saw it go by real quick, asking about how to take the cab off the chassis without a lift. Oh boy, I've done it before. It's been a while. If you have the chassis stripped down the cab, man, I'd get a bunch of the neighbor guys to help me walk it off. I just had 3 of the neighbor guys come over and help me walk the body off my Track T, Model T.
bench band, yeah. Yes. I have like 10 more shapes and sizes if you want to.
Hey, Ryan, this is the editor of Classic Trucks. Let's see. Charles, I missed the name, and he said, what's the holdup? They want to get rolling and seeing the engine and trans going in. Is the holdup the camera guys?
See all this?
All this? See this out there? The camera guys, that's the problem. We have more cameramen than we got mechanics, and who's holding us up? Yep.
We would have had this thing done already.
That's right. We had been done. We'd been burning out down the street.
We didn't have to shoot anything, it'd be 2 days of wicked.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be 2 days to Wicked.
It just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound cool. Oh, look at this. There's a whole army of these guys. And we got a Chinese lantern. Larry, transmission's brand new. Well, it's a rebuild. It's a beef transmission, performance automatic. So
Can you get a check for Duncan? Check, 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 check.
yeah, computer controlled transmissions are amazing. Steven, I don't know what the total budget's going to be on this build. Like I said, we have magazine editors working, so we all work cheap, so that saves money. This is Tom. He works for Speedway Motors. He's from Lincoln, Nebraska area. He's an engineer. And we got him inside the cab wire in the truck. There you go. Amen. Yeah, you're right.
I'm here with David from Speedway Motors, and in order to ship our I'm here with David from Performance Online. Let's get all that out there. Okay. I'm here with David from Speedway Motors, and in order to shift our performance automatic meat shifter.
We do. This one came from Locar. It's the bench bend design, and the thing that we really like about it is the muscle car shifter shift handle, or shift knob, I guess.
Kind of cool look.
It's a cool look. It looks a lot like an old Muncie 4-speed shifter that GM used in the 60s. The ball is available in black, polished aluminum or white, and you just push down on it to shift.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's a design that we worked with Locar to come up with. It's exclusive to Speedway for the time being, and should add a real kind of 60s flair to this truck.
Yeah, for sure. And we're running a 4L70. Locar, I know, makes them tranny mount and floor mount. These is the floor mount.
Yep, floor mount should make it a little bit easier so that we don't have to, so we're not locked into a certain location of the transmission.
Well, that's one good thing about this. We can position this anywhere we want in the cab, centered with the transmission. Cut the little hole out where the lever would go through. And then you got this rod here, which you're just going to cut the length, I believe, wherever you need it. And I think it comes with everything you're going to need to go to the transmission and for the floor.
Correct.
Very cool. So get that installed and start shifting.
Sounds good.
Nice take. Yeah.
Okay, sorry you guys, I had to be quiet. The set was live right then. They were recording for the videos. It can be seen at hotrod.com, classictrucks.com, streetrodder.com. The magazines that are involved, primarily it's Classic Trucks.
Right on the set. Got one more take. All right, action. I'm here with David from Speedway Motors, and you got a shifter for our performance automatic.
Yep, we do. This one came from Locar. It's a muscle car bench bend shifter, so it's got the bend in it that should work with our bench seat. And it's got the muscle car shift handle on it, which is something that we work with Locar on. It kind of replicates an old Muncie 4-speed shifter, so it has kind of a nice vintage look. A T-bar, and then you just pull down on the knob to shift it. And the knob's available in black, white, polished aluminum. So whatever look you want to go for, we think it's going to be a real clean look in this truck.
That certainly looks cool. I know they offer them in floor mounts and trans mount. I think we have a floor mount here.
Correct. We do have a floor mount. That should make it a little bit easier to kind of position it where we want it in the cab, make sure it kind of fits where it's within easy reach from that seat.
And like you said, you should put this anywhere in the cab centered with the transmission, and they give you a couple of things. This goes through the floor of the cab. This is the rod you cut the length to get the linkage on your transmission. So you've got everything here to install this.
All the stuff that we need, there will be a boot that cleans it all up when we get it in there, and it should be good to go.
Awesome. I'm gonna put this thing in there.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, we can talk again. All right, okay, that's out of the way now, and you guys can get back to work. The wheels and tires, those are Rocket Racing wheels out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Booster, it's a five spoke mag, 5 lug pattern. I have 6-bolt boosters on my truck, 20s. These are 18-inch wheels, and those are Falken tires. Those of you that are sharing this video, thank you very much. Okay, cart full of supplies just arrived. A bandolero full of radiator hoses, antifreeze. Okay, engine and trans are going to be assembled together and then dropped in. That's the fast way to do it. It's a limited slip. It's a Curie 9 Plus with 3.5 gears, 3.5 to 1 rear end axle ratio, and limited slip. Juan Canales, yeah, the camera crew. We've been razzing them all morning. It takes time to do this stuff. It's one thing to have to build the truck in 5 to 7 days, and it's another thing to film it. In fact, they're getting ready to film because there's video clips explaining each phase of this build. Right now, Ryan is discussing with Ryan Foss the features, the bullet points about the transmission, and then Ryan and Damon Lee will discuss the transmission. And then we can drop it in. We start bolting it up.
But it's like they're selling.
Big cabinet full of Hilco fasteners. Hilco is located in Garden Grove, California, not far from here. Here, let's see. You can see relative to the height of those 3 fellers standing there to the snap-on box, the Hilco cabinet, it's pretty fair sized. So yeah, it'd be nice to have that. I wouldn't mind having that in bolt assortment myself. This is just a walk around the tech center. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up in probably a half hour. In fact, when the engine and transmission are bolted together, I'll fire up a live feed for Street Rodder Magazine's Facebook page. It'll be a live feed. All right. Thank you all very much for joining us. They're getting ready. The set's going to have to be quiet on the set here, so we'll be talking to you guys soon. Thank you all very much for joining us.
I'll do all of them but that one.
Oh, it's that weird metric.
Eamon, you're